Hi friends. I just realized I should do a series called Squash Talk. Maybe I'll do that, group them all together so whoever comes by for all things squash can find them in one place. This was the dying spaghetti squash plant that I was about to pull out of the ground. And you know, they're tough. They're tough little buggers. This is all new growth. And I thought this growth was coming from the remaining plant on this side where that nice sweet squash is still growing, but it's actually from this guy right here. And look how torn up that looks. I mean, you would think there would be no fighting chance, and yet look at all this new growth. Look at that. So I'm gonna let it, play out, see what happens. But I've got it vertical, got lots of air. And speaking of going vertical, I just watched a video on YouTube from Vegetable Academy. I just subscribed to them. You should too. So props to them for this cool little trick that I'm going to try next. But I lost one of my zucchini plants shortly after bragging about how this aluminum foil thing had worked out really well. One of them I had to pull up. There it is, poor guy. Anyway, Vegetable Academy mentioned this trick, which is you can trim back. Everybody talks about trimming back squash leaves, but the trick is, you feel kind of weird about doing that because they're hollow in the center, and you're like, so I'm just going to leave this big gaping hole, but it's all right. And the strategy that they explained is that you can be confident in removing all of these limbs up to your most current forward fruit, or zucchini in this case. And then what you can do from there is gently lift this guy upright, like so, and have supports on either side of this base. Just support that. So you want to make it, kind of tall, but that way you bring it all the way up to the current fruit. It's up off the ground, away from things that want to eat it, destroy it, and gives it a lot more air. And apparently when you trim back the leaves a bit, it of course sends more energy to the vegetables. So I'm going to do that next. And this is just a short follow-up to the other day when I was doing my scaffolding, not my terracing, but my scaffolding. And my husband was like, well, isn't scaffolding something that you climb up on to do work? And I'm like, well, the vegetables are doing work. They're making me vegetables, and this is their scaffolding. So this is pumpkin. I've strewn up through there and across. And the other cool thing, and then these over here are melons. And I think this was saved seed just from an Amish cantaloupe that I got at market. So we can talk about that some other time too, saving seed and how wonderful that is. But yeah, the scaffolding, as I was lifting this stuff up, I learned something new about pumpkins because I had never grown them before. But pumpkins do the thing where they will, as they grow, put another shoot down as a root. You see that right there? As well as the trick of climbing with these tendrils here. So it does both. I was going to lift this up and I was going to bring it through the scaffolding, but it was tied down, and I was like, oh, it must want more nutrients from the ground, so I'm going to leave this section down on the ground. Anyway, that's my updates in this squash session, and I appreciate you stopping by. Please leave any comments you have, on what's going on in your gardens. And I hope you have a blessed day.